But for now, let's go across to another important management voice. We have the leadership of IMFA joining us on the show right now to talk about the Q3 numbers, why they actually, had to post a weak set of numbers for the quarter. High realizations is something that supported the sales, but contract from ferrochrome prices is settling lower. So that is one key concern as well. We have Subhrakant Panda, the Managing Director and CEO of IMFA joining us. Thanks a lot, Mr. Panda, for taking time out to chat with us about what transpired in the third quarter. After many, in fact, quarters of growth, there seems to be a moderation for you, right? So to start with, on the top line growth, it's a realization-led growth really. So what have been the average NSRs this time around?
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me on the show. Well, I would actually say this is a decent set of numbers for the third quarter, because ferrochrome prices in the last 3 or 4 quarters has been fairly volatile, and we have sort of had a good quarter followed by an average quarter. So if you look at it in a longer term perspective, we have been able to maintain more or less maintain our output. Realization as compared to the corresponding third quarter is actually higher by about 9%. Where of course we have been hurt is the fact that the rupee appreciation has taken a toll. And secondly, what is not very evident from the numbers right away is that during the third quarter we had to actually buy power from the grid because of issues with coal availability. So nearly about 50 million units of power was bought from the grid as opposed to own generation, and that has affected the bottom line. Otherwise, we would have had an even better set of numbers.
Right. So I just wanted to understand about the Chinese demand, and that has led to the fueling of prices going up.
Absolutely. Just to take a look at stainless steel production during calendar year 2017, which is how the international numbers are reported, as against an estimate of a 3% growth at the beginning of the year. 2017 has actually seen stainless steel production ultimately end up about 6% higher. So demand is of course robust. But what has happened is leading up to the Chinese Lunar New Year, you do see an appreciation of prices as sort of buying happens to stock up on inventory prior to the holidays. So as a result of that, you are actually seeing spot prices range in the mid-90s, almost about mid-90 cent levels at this point in time. And given that, we expect a trend reversal in the first quarter of FY19 in terms of benchmark prices moving up, and that is going to be supported, as I mentioned, not just by sustained demand, but the other important factor to also consider is the fact that the South African rand has appreciated significantly against the US dollar. And given that South Africa is a leading producer of ferrochrome, that in itself is also going to have a positive impact as far as Q1 is concerned of FY19.
Right. So I just wanted to understand one thing. If I look at your realizations, they were close to 50,000, 62,000, 63,000, a ton, versus the current price of 1 lakh. So when the new contracts come for renegotiation, the prices will be closer to the 1 lakh ton mark.
First of all, a little correction. In as much as realization during the third quarter is concerned, actually it was about 80,000 rupees a ton. So that's a correction I would like to point out. Q4 is again going to be affected by the timing of the contract finalization, but we expect a trend reversal to happen. The good thing, if you again look at the price movement of ferrochrome over the last several quarters, is that the price volatility has sort of narrowed down into a more sustainable range of about 85 to 90 cents. And at those levels, we can expect a fairly healthy EBITDA of between 25 to 30%, which augurs well.
Okay, let's talk about the overall export growth as well. Give us a sense as to how demand in China has shaped up, and can you tell us the current production in China? What kind of a market potential do you see?
China is very clearly the epicenter of the stainless steel industry, and thereby, that's where most of the ferrochrome is headed. We, of course, while we do export to China, our primary focus is South Korea and Taiwan, where we have long-term contracts. Also, a little bit in Japan. But we do have a presence in China, and clearly Chinese production is of stainless steel, and thereby demand for ferrochrome is what is a very key driver for the industry. Now the forecasts which have been put out for 2018 again talk of a 3% growth in stainless steel production, and we have reasons to believe that by the time you look at it at the end of the year, it might be higher. But even if you go with a conservative forecast of 3%, that still results in significantly higher requirement of ferrochrome, with no real new capacities likely to come online. So therefore, we do see sustained demand and an overall positive environment which will support prices going ahead.
All right, Mr. Panda, thanks a lot for taking time out and speaking to us about your Q3 numbers. Meantime, TVS numbers are out. Profits are a tad below what we expected, but revenues have actually exceeded